And go stop that. Hello everyone, I'm Dawn. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for visiting with me today. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel, The Cutting Board. We do all kinds of content here. We do food related, shopping hauls, true crime, DIY, regular makeup, SFX makeup vlogs, and most importantly, at least to me, Disney content. I wanted to address this. I wanted to read this bit from the Foyas, the Gypsy Rose Foyas. This is from the perspective of Gypsy's Demona character, and this is not an alternate personality, okay? This is a performance. A character she is playing for her little sex game. It reads, come with Demona. Gypsy introduces herself as Demona and says she would do anything Nicholas says for her to do. And Demona Part 1, it says video would not play. Demona Part 2, this is continuation from the video titled Demona Part 1-2. She continued to talk about how she pledged her life and love to him. The Demona Part 2 video would not play. The Part 2-2. I don't know why I'm reading all that. Then Gypsy is portrayed to be Demona in another video and talked about how she was the reason for the breakup between her and Nicholas. She talked about how she was going to blank herself because she caused them to break up. Next, it says Demona to Sir Black One. Gypsy introduces herself as Demona again, and she tells Nicholas that she was making this video because he commanded her to do so. She talked about how she was a slut and she could hurt someone, but she could not physically harm her mother or Nicholas. And she said if Sir Black One wanted to beat her for not wanting to hurt them, then he could beat her physically. She said she was very good at stealing, and this was her specialty. She went on to explain how and why she was good at stealing, and she talked about how she could make money, and she promised Nicholas that she would do this for him, even if it meant her sleeping with a stranger for money. She said she could R-word Nicholas by tying him up, and they would be great partners in crime. And next we go into, I'm just skipping the ones where it says the video would not play. There's no information, so it doesn't matter. But here we go. Demona's anniversary video. Gypsy introduces herself as Demona. She talked about being in love with him and how she wanted them to live together away from other people. And she talked about having children with Nicholas, and this is important. She said they would have to teach and educate their children what not to say in public to keep him being a vampire a secret. If they had a girl, then their daughter had to lose her virginity to Nicholas. She said that because he would be the master of the household. She said when she turned 13, she would explain this to their daughter and why she had to give her virginity to Nicholas. She talked about how she was Nicholas's slave and he could have her anytime he wanted. So there's that. But she said that's not how it happened. She said that in this interview.
Routines was aligned.
Okay. Wow. And then Nick told you at one point that if y'all ever had a daughter together, he would take your daughter's virginity at 13.
Correct. And I broke up with him after he said that. We had a huge argument after that. I broke up with him. I'm like, I'm done. I called him a bunch of names.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I am never going to let you do that.
Mm-hmm.
So you've just lost me.
Mm-hmm.
And then he basically talked me back by saying that I would never do that. That was my other personality, but I would never let him do that. So
Another softball interview. But this lion sicko, she still has supporters. It's gross and it's dangerous. Is this weird admiration people have for Gypsy Rose a type of hybristophilia? So hybristophilia is more commonly a sexual attraction to an evil person. Serial killers in prison, for example, but it can also be a platonic attraction. When it is more platonic, it is reasonable to assume that these hybristophiliacs are hoping to share in some type of twisted spotlight. These people have low self-esteem, feel lonely and worthless, and lack self-love. The subject of adoration does not necessarily have to be in prison, or in this case, still in prison. Hybristophilia refers to an interest to individuals who commit crimes. While this is mostly associated with those forming relationships with criminals in prison, it's not limited to that situation alone. They don't have to be in prison for it to be hybristophilia. So hybristophilia refers to a sexual interest in or attraction to individuals who commit crimes. While this phenomenon is notably associated with individuals forming relationships with incarcerated criminals, especially those in prison, it's not limited to this context alone. I'm sorry, they're having a party right outside. While hybristophilia often refers to a sexual attraction to criminals, it can also exist without that sexual attraction. Yet the satisfaction one can get from this bizarre phenomenon is very much similar to a sexual type of satisfaction. This phenomenon involves a range of psychological and social factors. Some people are drawn to the perceived power, dominance, and defiance of this criminal, this person. In their minds, they see, in this case, a killer with no true remorse navigate her post-prison world as some type of anti-hero or folk icon, which she is neither. They feel excitement admiring someone a large portion of society rightfully rejects. This odd admiration may stem from a desire for excitement in an otherwise boring existence, or a feeling of being special by association, vicariously living. Some idea that her life is more exciting than theirs. False ideas have been easily planted in their heads, and they're seeking an alternative to a dull and unfulfilling life. You can easily identify these attitudes of inadequacy in their own social media posts, and in their weak attempts at defending the indefensible. They are experiencing a tinge of rebellion through their admiration of this murderer, and it gives them some satisfaction, albeit fleeting. So some of these individuals may believe that she is innocent and misunderstood, despite the mountain of documented evidence that proves otherwise. They may feel like they can bond with her because of possible shared trauma, even if the trauma is manufactured. In their mind, it doesn't matter. Manufactured for the purpose of manipulation. They don't care that they're being manipulated. The human mind naturally seeks to understand and rationalize seemingly senseless acts. Their motivations may seem pure because they want to be seen as people who care, but by the people that reject the twisted subject of admiration, see the admirers as pariahs, fools with no morals. Social and cultural factors have shaped perceptions of Gypsy, making her appear like a sympathetic character to some. However, others see her as a murderer who lies and manipulates and continues to do so. She does it to everyone around her. Her portrayal as a victim evokes empathy from those who are unable or unwilling to fully look at the big picture, weak-minded. The lines between fiction and reality are blurred by Gypsy herself because she wants to be the perpetual victim and sit back and watch while her foolish sycophants try to fight for her. She gets off on this. These people are seeking some type of notoriety or belonging. They desire to achieve a sense of importance by association. Admiring a murderer in any way is problematic. It trivializes the suffering of surviving victims and trivializes the original crime. It validates harmful behavior and encourages further bad behavior from the subject of the admiration. Looking up to someone like Gypsy is especially dangerous for young people who think having their phone taken away for 2 weeks or being grounded is a criminal act on their parents' part. They look at Gypsy as someone that they can learn from. In their minds, they may think they can also unalive a parent and cry mistreatment by said parent. They can manipulate someone that they perceive to be weaker than them, like Gypsy did, to help them commit the crime. Because Gypsy did it and only got 8 years for it. She only got 8 years for it. They think they'll come out on the other side with millions of followers and crazy admiration also. They're sadly mistaken, because that likely won't happen for them. I can't see society allowing that BS to happen again. I don't know. But these people really need to consider seeking psychological help. No, this isn't to be offensive. And address the underlying triggers and issues that are causing this type of twisted admiration, so that they can learn how to develop healthier coping mechanisms. Because worshiping a murderer is not it. It's unhealthy and it's ridiculous. So Gypsy says she has grown a lot since being released from her little tiny prison sentence, her little visit, but she hasn't grown at all. She has showcased herself as a spoiled brat, lying in every interview she's done, contradicting herself. You know, she cheated on her husband to be with her ex, and yes, that's what it was. It was cheating. Thank you. Don't try to educate me in the comments. It was cheating. Thank you. Gets pregnant to trap the guy again while she still is married to a different man. And let's not forget her drunken post-parole party celebrating that she basically got away with cold-blooded murder. Because that's what happened. She got away. She got away with cold-blooded murder. 8 years for cold-blooded murder is a vacation. She can claim she's grown, but those who are thinking straight know she's a liar and has no remorse, not only for what she did to her mother, but for manipulating a mentally challenged man into helping her, ruining his family. She has messed with several lives and thinks nothing of it. Now Nicholas is sitting in prison for life while she acts like Little Miss Influencer. It's disgusting and sickening. She doesn't deserve grace. She doesn't deserve peace. There has been no justice for Dee Dee, no justice for Nicholas. But, go on, girl, go on. Color your hair and, continue to act like you're an innocent victim. You're an icon now in all of this. Go get yourself another wheelchair. That scam worked out for you before. Maybe it'll work again. Doubtful, but maybe. Some people will buy it. Some people are dumb enough. But that's it for this video. I'm going to go for now, but thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to everyone later. Bye-bye.